My ex-husband wanted to shame me by sending me an invite to his big wedding. He thought I would come looking sad, broken, just like he remembered me, lost, helpless, and ashamed. But when I arrived, it was in a shiny white Rolls-Royce, 2 little boys and a girl holding my hands. Everyone froze. The same woman he had once called poor, bad luck, and barren was now standing before him, radiating confidence, grace, and power. And this was just the beginning. They say some wounds never heal, but mine had to, whether I liked it or not. My name is Amelia Hart, and I used to believe that love was enough. That if you tried hard, gave your all, and dreamed together, the world would cooperate. I learned the hard way that it doesn't. 11 years ago, Nathan and I had met in a friend's engagement party. I was 24 at that time, full of hope and ambition, ready to believe in fairy tales. He was in his early 30s, charming, proud, ambitious. He loved power, attention, and was fiercely protective of me. He was just the kind of man who made you think life would never hurt too much, or so I thought. We married 2 years later, starry-eyed and in love. He told me I was calm, soft, and the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. I believed him. I believed in him. I believed in us. The early days were gentle and golden. We had tiny rituals, Sunday morning breakfasts with laughter spilling over the table, sharing secret jokes no one else understood, running errands hand in hand, dreaming aloud about the home we would build and the family we would one day have. I admired him endlessly, his drive, his ambition, his way of making me feel like the center of his world. But tiny cracks appeared that I ignored. Subtle impatience when things didn't go his way. A dismissive comment if I forgot a task. I dismissed them as stress, ambition, or bad days. I wanted to see the good in the man I loved. I wanted to believe in fairy tales. Then came the miscarriages. Each one a silent heartbreak, each one a reminder that my body had PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, a hormonal disorder, and that pregnancy wouldn't come easily. Nights curled up on the bathroom floor, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I would ever be enough. Nathan tried to comfort me at first. "It's okay, Amelia. We'll figure it out," he whispered, holding me through tears. But as the miscarriages mounted, his words shifted. Patience thinned. Compassion faded. He began blaming me, sometimes subtly, sometimes openly. "You can't even do the one thing a woman is supposed to do," he spat one night, his grip on my wrist tight, his eyes cold. I married a failure. And just like that, I went from the young woman full of hope to someone counting invisible losses in the dark. My life became quiet grief, hidden from the world, leaving me isolated even in a marriage that was supposed to be my sanctuary. Yet I loved him. I loved the man I thought he was. The man who whispered sweet nothings, who once made me feel cherished, who promised me forever. I wasn't ready to let that go. It was our 7th wedding anniversary, and I wanted to make it perfect. For weeks, I had planned a romantic evening, soft candlelight, roses scattered across the dining room, his favorite playlist softly humming in the background. I prepared seared salmon with honey glaze, roasted vegetables, and chocolate soufflé. On his plate, a note, 7 years, countless memories, and all my love. I imagined us laughing, sharing memories, holding hands, and feeling close again. I wanted to rekindle the spark, to remind us both that love had once been enough. Nathan arrived, sharp and proud, but there was a flicker of awe on his face when he saw the candles and flowers. "Amelia, this is beautiful," he said softly, almost admiringly. For a moment, we laughed about old memories, teasing each other the way we used to. For a fleeting moment, I believed we were finding our way back. I believed that maybe, just maybe, the worst was behind us. He reached across the table, took a sip of wine, and smiled. But it wasn't the smile I knew. Something cold lived behind it. "Yes, everything was supposed to be perfect," he said, voice calm, almost warm. "But you failed us." My heart stopped. "You can't house a baby in your stomach. 7 years, 6 miscarriages, Amelia. I am wasting my time. My love. My future on you. Nathan, it's not my fault, I whispered, my voice small. It's your fault, he snapped, louder. The one job you were made for, you failed. Look at Hannah, she's having her second child. Clara is already a mother. And you? You can't even keep a pregnancy. His words cut like a knife. I opened my mouth, wanting to defend myself, to remind him that PCOS wasn't my choice, that my body wasn't fighting me on purpose, that I was trying, but no sound came out. He leaned back and shook his head. I've put seed inside you time and time again only to get disappointment. Tears blurred my vision. Yes, it's not your fault, he said again, but the softness was gone, replaced with venom. That's why I'm letting you go. He placed a brown envelope on the table. Divorce papers. Sign them, he said flatly. And get out. My heart cracked. Not in my wildest dreams had I imagined this night ending like this. I had news for him, news that could have changed everything. For weeks, something felt different. I held on to hope, the number 7 always symbolizing completion to me. I wanted to tell him tonight. But he walked away before I could speak. I sat there, shaking violently, tears sliding down my cheeks as the candles flickered around me. The man I had loved, was gone. As I stared at the divorce papers, something shifted inside me. A quiet realization. A quiet truth. Maybe my body couldn't house a baby because this house couldn't house us. Maybe no baby wanted to stay in a place filled with bitterness and blame. Maybe, he was the problem all along. As I walked up to our room, his words kept ringing in my head. Nathan had called me barren, a burden, a curse. He said my body couldn't keep a baby. But tonight, as I packed my clothes into my bag, I whispered under my breath. Maybe my body never felt safe carrying a child for a man who never protected me. Shaking, I folded dresses that once held memories of better times. But now each one felt like a lie. The miscarriages flashed through my mind, the hope, the joy, the sudden sharp pain, the hospital lights, then Nathan's explosion. I remembered one night clearly. The 4th miscarriage. He had come home furious, pacing angrily. You've done it again, he spat. The baby wants to come. But your cursed body won't let it. Nathan, please. I'm trying. The doctors. I don't care about doctors, he roared. Do you know how it feels to see other men holding their babies? Hannah had her shower last week. Clara posted pictures of her newborn. What do I have, Amelia? What do I have to show? You'll be a father soon, I sobbed. In due time. Due time, he scoffed. You say that every year. I should have married someone else. Someone whose body wouldn't reject me. And he walked out, slamming the door. Some nights he refused to sleep beside me. Other nights he wouldn't even eat my food. Now, as I zipped my bag, I saw him leaning against the doorway. Hands crossed. Expression cold. He didn't stop me. He didn't soften. Not once. I picked up my boxes, grabbed my keys, and turned to him one final time. You will regret this, I whispered, voice breaking. One day, you will understand what you've done. He didn't reply. He looked past me, as if I were already gone. I signed the divorce papers. Walked out the door. And stepped into the cold night. I may be leaving with nothing, I whispered, touching my stomach gently, but I will not remain broken. My God will fight for me. And you, my little one, you will call me mother. I got into my car and drove. Tears blurred my vision, but I didn't stop. For 1 hour and 30 minutes, I drove until my heart could breathe again. I finally reached my father's house. He rushed outside the moment he heard the car. When he saw me, face drenched in tears, his heart twisted. He opened his arms wide. And I ran into them. The embrace I needed. The love I had been starved of. The beginning, of the woman I would become. "Come inside," my father said softly, his voice trembling as he pulled me closer. "Amelia, what happened?" I couldn't speak at first. The words stuck in my throat like thorns. He guided me into the warm sitting room, sat me down gently, and knelt in front of me as if I were a child again. "Talk to me," he whispered. "Please." My lips parted, and the truth spilled out in broken pieces. "He threw me out, Daddy." Tears streamed down my face. "He said he was tired. He said I'm a curse." My father closed his eyes briefly, fighting the anger rising in him. When he opened them again, they were glossy, full of pain for me. "My daughter, my precious girl, no man has the right to speak to you that way." He held my hands. "Not even your husband." I shook my head, shoulders trembling. "He's not my husband anymore, Daddy." I reached into my bag with shaky fingers and pulled out the signed divorce papers. I signed them. I didn't want to fight. His jaw tightened. "Even if you signed those papers, nobody, has the right to treat you like you're nothing. I will talk to him." "No," I cut in quickly, almost panicking. "Please don't. I don't want him knowing I came here. I just want peace." My father's shoulders softened. He nodded after a long pause. Silence settled between us, heavy but safe. Then slowly, I placed my hand over my stomach. "Daddy, there's something else." My voice cracked again. "I'm pregnant." He inhaled sharply, a mixture of shock and warmth flickering in his eyes. "I found out weeks ago," I whispered. "I wanted to tell Nathan tonight. I thought maybe this baby would fix us. But now I'm scared. Because of the polycystic ovary syndrome. Because of the miscarriages. What if?" My words dissolved into sobs. "What if this baby doesn't stay?" He cupped my cheeks gently, lifting my face so my eyes met his. "Amelia," he said softly. "Listen to me. This child, this little life inside you, is not coming to break you. This child is coming to heal you." My breath caught. "You have to hold on to that belief," he continued. "Remove every negative voice Nathan planted in you. This child is not a curse. You are not a curse. You are my daughter. Strong. Loved. And this baby will stay." A fragile smile broke through my tears. "Daddy, you think so?" "I know so," said firmly. "Now come. You and my grandchildren need rest." He stood, picked up my bag, and walked toward the guest room. "I'll heat water for your bath," he added gently. "You're safe here, Amelia." Safe. It had been a long time since I felt that. I exhaled, letting the weight slide off my chest. For the first time in years. I believed him. I believed I, and my baby, might just be okay. "Tomorrow, we'll talk about what's next," my dad said and closed the door. But that night, nothing felt like next. Everything felt like it ended. I sat on the edge of the guest bed, staring at the floor as my father walked away to give me privacy. The room was quiet, the air still, yet my mind refused to rest. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Nathan's face, distant, cold, almost disgusted, as if I were a burden he finally had permission to drop. That night, I barely slept. By morning, my pillow was wet with tears. And still, somehow, my heart kept beating. Days passed. I stayed in my father's house, trying to hide the weight sitting on my chest. My dad tried everything: jokes, stories, food, even playing old music I liked. Sometimes it worked, other times, I was too broken to respond. I ate little. I spoke less. I was surviving, not living. One morning, he knocked on my door. Amelia, my friend came back from South Africa. I want us to visit him today. No, I said immediately, pulling the blanket over myself. Dad, I can't. I don't want people asking about Nathan, or the divorce. Or, anything. My father sighed and sat on the bed. You are not the first to go through a divorce, and you won't be the last. And if anyone asks you anything you're not ready to answer, you simply smile and say nothing. You owe nobody your pain. But, what if they judge me? Let them judge, he said gently. Your only job now is to breathe. And my grandchildren need a mother who breathes. I blinked. I had forgotten. In the storm of heartbreak, that I was carrying life inside me. I placed my hand on my small bump and whispered, "Okay, Dad, let's go out. Just to breathe." And for a moment, the sun felt warm again. 3 weeks went by. One morning, I stepped into the living room where my father was working on his laptop. Dad, I hesitated. Will you be able to follow me to the hospital? I need a checkup. He lifted his head and froze, staring at me. You look beautiful, he whispered. I blushed lightly. I want to look beautiful for my baby. My grandchildren, you mean? We both smiled, a small, quiet moment of joy. We drove to St. Coral Women's Hospital, a serene place painted in soft blues and whites. The smell of disinfectant mixed with something warm, safety, maybe. The receptionist guided us in room, and soon, the doctor called my name. Dr. Helena was gentle and warm, the kind of woman who looked like she had delivered hope more times than she had delivered babies. So, Amelia, she said. You mentioned polycystic ovary syndrome before. We're going to take our time and run a full scan today, just to see how things are progressing. My heart pounded. My father squeezed my hand. The room dimmed as she prepared the ultrasound. When the screen lit up, I held my breath. Dr. Helena's eyes moved slightly. My heart stopped. Is something wrong? I whispered. She didn't answer immediately. She moved the wand again, slower, more deliberate. Then she gasped softly. Amelia, this is surprising. What? What is it? My father asked, standing halfway from his chair. Dr. Helena smiled, a wide, warm smile. It's a multiple pregnancy. My dad and I shouted at the same time. Multiple what? She pointed to the screen. Here, and here. You're carrying 3 babies. My father grabbed his chest, tears running freely. I covered my mouth, crying uncontrollably. You said it, Dad, I sobbed. You said this baby would stay. He nodded, holding my shoulder. Not just 1, 3. My God. I laughed through tears, joy and fear blending like paint in water. The doctor continued softly, You're 3 months along. With PCOS, this is remarkable. But triplets are high risk. We'll need to monitor your blood pressure, your rest, and your emotional stress. The journey may not be easy, but these babies are fighters. I swallowed. Then the fear I had tried so hard to bury burst out. How do you know this one will stay? I whispered, voice cracking. My dad stepped in before the doctor could answer. No, Amelia. Stop that voice. He crouched in front of me, leveling his eyes with mine. These babies will live. They will grow. They chose you. The doctor smiled softly and placed a hand over mine. Your body has already done something rare. Let's give it every chance to continue. For the first time in weeks, I felt something inside me rise, not hope, but the courage to hope. The journey wasn't easy. Weeks turned into months of careful monitoring, dietary changes, and constant check-ins. Every ultrasound, every tiny flutter, was a miracle I refused to take for granted. And finally, after 7 months, my 3 blessings arrived. Fragile, small, yet fierce in their resilience, just like their mother. 3 years later, my house was alive with the energy of 3 spirited children. The triplets, Eli, Maya, and Noah, were a perfect mix of Nathan's striking features and my warmth. They were clever, playful, and constantly testing the limits of my patience. But they were mine. My heart. My proof that life could still be beautiful after heartbreak. My father watched them, laughing, proud, and exhausted from the energy of their play. "You've done well, Amelia," he said quietly. "You've built something beautiful here." "Thank you, Dad," I whispered, tears falling. "For helping me, for being a father to them too." He hugged me before I could continue, turning his attention to the kids. Watching them, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. That evening, as I cleared the breakfast dishes and folded tiny blankets, my phone buzzed. I picked it up, puzzled, an unknown sender. The email opened. The words made my chest tighten. "Amelia, we hope you can attend. We really do hope to see you there." Shock froze me in place. Nathan. I knew he was doing well. I'd heard whispers. Friends and distant acquaintances sharing tales of his successes, his thriving career, and how he had met someone new, Sophia, a beautiful, kind, and healthy woman, the perfect image he'd longed for. He was finally ready to marry again, to give marriage another chance, as he thought. Tears formed in my eyes, not because he was getting married, but because I finally saw him clearly. The man I had loved for 7 years, the man who had belittled me, humiliated me, and called me cursed, was exactly who he had always been. The charms, the whispers, the smiles, they were all a mask. And I had worn blinders, allowing love to deceive me. Now, I smiled through my tears. "I will attend," I whispered to myself. "But not as the woman you thought I was, Nathan. Not as the one who bends or breaks. I will go as the woman who survived, who thrived, and who gave life to 3 beautiful miracles. I will go as Amelia Hart, strong, proud, and unstoppable." And with that, I set my phone down, looking around at my little family, my heart full. Whatever Nathan expected, whatever he hoped to see, I knew this, my story wasn't his to control anymore. The next morning, I walked into the kitchen where my father was sipping his coffee. "Dad, I have a wedding to attend." He looked up, surprised. "Oh. That's nice, Amelia. When is it?" "In 2 weeks, I replied. "A friend of yours?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "No, Dad," I said, my heart steady, "it's Nathan. He's getting married, and he sent me an invitation. I plan to honor it." He put down his cup, shock spreading across his face. "What? You would attend his wedding? That man? Amelia, what sort of man is he? How cruel can one get, wanting the satisfaction of seeing you broken and shattered?" "Yes, Dad," I said firmly, meeting his gaze. "But I won't be the one broken. I will attend, not to suffer, but to show that life has moved on, that I am stronger than his cruelty." He hesitated, worry flickering across his face. "Are you sure?" "I am," I replied. "And I will go with the triplets. He is their father, after all. I will make his wedding grand, in my own way." He shook his head, a mixture of pride and disbelief. "I'll drive you there." "You don't have to, Dad." "I'll manage," I insisted. "No, Amelia. I will go. You don't drive my grandchildren to witness that." "I insist." 2 weeks later, the day arrived. The morning air smelled of rain on warm pavement, the city buzzing gently with life. I dressed the triplets in matching outfits with tiny bow ties for the boys and a cream-colored dress for Maya. They looked angelic, my heart swelling as I combed their hair. I stepped into a flowing emerald gown that hugged my figure, feeling radiant and confident. My father, in a tailored gray suit, looked every bit the proud grandfather. The plan was to take my white Rolls-Royce, the birthday gift I had given myself as a reward for surviving, for building this family. But my father insisted on driving, muttering, "No machine can be as steady as me behind the wheel for today." Nathan, on the other hand, could barely contain his anxiety. Rumors of my attendance had reached him. He sent me emails, so he can be certain of my attendance, but I didn't respond. Not once. I wanted him shocked, unprepared for the sight he would face. The drive to the venue was quiet but filled with anticipation. My father occasionally hummed a soft tune while the triplets jabbered about flowers and a fairy-tale castle-like building ahead. The wedding hall rose like a dream from the center of town, a grand white structure with ornate spires and golden arches, twinkling under the afternoon sun. The cobblestone streets leading to it were bustling with well-dressed guests, their laughter and chatter blending with the gentle rustling of leaves in the garden surrounding the hall. Inside, florists arranged bouquets of pastel roses, lilies, and peonies. The tables sparkled under crystal chandeliers, and ribbons of ivory silk adorned every chair. The town had gathered to witness the union of Nathan Richards and Sophia Clifford, the picture-perfect couple. Yet I could feel the energy shift as we approached. Something in the air told me this moment would mark a turning point. We arrived just as the officiant asked, "Sophia, do you take Nathan to be your lawfully wedded husband?" I stepped out of the Rolls-Royce with the triplets holding my hands. The moment my heels touched the cobblestone, every eye in the courtyard turned. A gasp rippled through the crowd. Whispers cascaded like waves. "Who is that? Look at the children. Is that Nathan's child?" All attention shifted from the bride and groom to me and my children. Eli, Maya, and Noah looked up at me, excitement sparkling in their eyes. They didn't know the drama, they only knew their mother looked happy and confident, and that was enough. Nathan's smile froze mid-gesture. His eyes went wide, disbelief etched across his face. "No, this can't be," he muttered, stepping closer. Sophia's hand tightened around Nathan's arm, her brow furrowed. "Is that your ex-wife? What is she doing here? I thought you said you didn't have a child." "You never mention children," she whispered, a hint of confusion lacing her voice. Nathan opened his mouth, trying to reply, but the words stuck. I never." His eyes darted to the children, and recognition hit him like a bolt. The triplets, his spitting image, stood there, giggling quietly, holding hands with me. Each of them mirrored parts of him he couldn't ignore, the sharp eyes, the mischievous smiles, the smallest quirks that betrayed our shared history. Sophia frowned. "Nathan, who are they?" "They." His voice faltered. His pride, his carefully maintained composure, wavered as he saw what I had become. These are. I took a deep breath, holding my head high. "They are your children, Nathan. And I am Amelia Cole, the woman you once tried to break." A hush fell over the courtyard. Guests whispered, some gasping, others staring in awe. The officiant paused mid-sentence, unsure how to continue with this unexpected revelation. I smiled softly at my children, kneeling to fix Eli's bow tie. "Ready, my darlings?" They nodded, holding my hands tighter. In that moment, I felt invincible. Every cruel word, every heartbreak, every tear had led me here. To this exact moment, standing proud, with 3 blessings, who were living proof of my strength. Nathan swallowed hard, speechless, while Sophia's hand dropped to her side, unsure whether to be angry or confused. I straightened, stepping forward with my children, knowing that the world was watching. But I no longer needed their approval. I didn't need his. I only needed to see my children smile, hear their laughter, and feel my own heartbeat steady in its triumph. And Nathan, he would remember this day. Nathan's legs moved before he even realized it. He stepped down from the altar, his face drained of color, shock freezing every part of him. His mother, Mrs. Richards, hurried after him. But when she saw the triplets up close, saw those familiar eyes, the unmistakable resemblance, her knees buckled. She knelt right in front of the children, tears rising instantly. "What? Nathan, what is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "Mom, I had no idea," Nathan stammered. I thought. Thought what, Nathan?" I cut in, my voice steady, my chin raised. The guests turned toward me, every business partner, every elite socialite, every friend who thought they knew Nathan Richards. Silence filled the courtyard like a thick cloud. I took a breath. This was not revenge. This was truth. A wave of shocked whispers rushed through the crowd. Nathan swallowed hard. "Amelia, please." I raised a hand, stopping him cold. "You said I had failed as a woman," I continued. "As if I had control over my body. As if I chose to suffer." My voice trembled, but I did not break. "Not today. You asked how this happened," I said, looking directly into his mother's eyes. "How these children exist." I smiled, softly, painfully. "It was supposed to be our 7th-year wedding anniversary present, Nathan. The surprise I prayed for. The miracle I wanted to show you." Gasps filled the air. Even the officiant stood frozen. "But like you always said," I continued, "I only raise your hopes just to dash them in disappointment." Nathan's face twisted. "Amelia, I never." "You did," I said sharply. "For 5 years, I lived in hell. I lived an identity that wasn't mine. I woke up every day being reminded that our childlessness was my fault. Being compared to other women who got pregnant easily. Being mocked, by you." Nathan's friends stared at him in disbelief. His business partners exchanged looks, some disgusted, some pitying. "You forgot our vows," I said, my voice cracking. 7 years ago, you promised to protect me. Instead, you chose to tear me down." I felt my eyes burn, but I didn't wipe the tears. I let them fall with pride. "The truth is, Nathan, you could not house our babies. They didn't want to come into the home of an unkind, emotionally abusive man. They stayed away because you mocked me, and you mocked my pain." A loud murmur surged through the audience. Some covered their mouths. Some shook their heads. All eyes were on Nathan. Sophia, still in her wedding gown, stepped forward. Her mascara smudged as tears slid down her cheeks. How could you say such things to your wife?" she whispered to Nathan. "How can any man speak like that to someone he claims to love?" She turned to me. "I am so sorry, Amelia. I can't imagine living with words like that weighing on your chest every day." My tears fell faster. Not from pain. From release. From finally being heard. Sophia looked at Nathan again. Now trembling, ashamed, exposed. "This means," she said shakily, "if the babies don't come immediately, this is also the fate awaiting me." Nathan tried to grab her hand. "No, Sophia, I swear. I can't do this," she cried, voice breaking as she stepped back. "I cannot marry a man capable of such cruelty." Her mother and sisters rushed forward, embracing her as she sobbed. Together, they guided her away from the altar. Her father gave Nathan a long, cold look before turning his back. The hall erupted in murmurs. Nathan stood alone. And for the first time, he looked small. Mrs. Richards, still on her knees, reached for my children again. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she gently touched their faces. "My beautiful grandchildren," she whispered. "My precious angels, forgive us. Forgive me. I did not know. I failed you too." She looked up at me, broken, sincere. She wiped her tears and held the triplets close as if afraid they might disappear. In that moment, Nathan took a shaky step forward, almost as if his legs no longer belonged to him. His eyes stayed glued to the triplets, his breath shallow, his face pale. Slowly, hesitantly, he reached for the first child. He held them one after the other, hands trembling, eyes widening with every familiar feature he recognized. The crowd watched in absolute silence. It was as if he was staring at three small reflections of himself. Nathan's knees buckled. He fell forward, kneeling at my feet, with the children still in his arms. "Amelia," he choked, voice breaking. "I am sorry. Please. Forgive me. I was blinded by perfection. I had our whole lives planned, and when things didn't go my way, I became selfish. Cruel. Please." He looked up at me with red, shaking eyes. "I beg you. Forgive me." He clutched the children as if afraid that if he loosened his grip, they would vanish like a dream. Mrs. Hart walked slowly toward him, her face hardening with disappointment. "Nathan," she whispered sharply, "I am ashamed of the man you have become. You told me you and Amelia ended things with mutual understanding. You lied. You hurt her. And now look at the consequences." Nathan swallowed painfully. "You must make this right," she said firmly. Behind her, I caught sight of my father. He wasn't smiling, he was proud. Quietly, deeply proud. Proud that I stood strong. Proud that I did not crumble the way everyone expected. Just then, one of the triplets tugged gently at my dress. "Mummy." Their tiny voice echoed through the hall. "Yes, sweetheart?" I asked softly. "Mummy, is he Daddy?" My chest tightened. Tears rolled down my cheeks, slow, warm, but not from pain. This was truth meeting innocence. "He was supposed to be," I whispered. Nathan's head snapped up. "What?" "Amelia." The children nodded, accepting it simply, without the complications of adults. Then I wiped my tears, turned to Nathan, and exhaled. "And now, it's time to go. You invited me to your wedding," I said calmly. "I only came to honor it. So congratulations, Nathan." I took a step back. "I wish you the life you chose. Have a nice one." "No," Nathan staggered to his feet, reaching for me. "No, Amelia, no, please. Please." His voice cracked, raw and desperate. "Please don't walk away. Amelia, have mercy on me." But it was too late. My father gently opened the car door, helping the children in one by one. I climbed in last. Through the tinted window, I saw guests rushing out, murmuring in shock, shaking their heads in disappointment at Nathan. Sophia was gone. Her family gone. The wedding, ruined beyond repair. Nathan stumbled after the car, shouting like a man losing the most important thing he ever had. "Amelia! Amelia! Please!" But my father started the engine, calm and steady. As we drove off, I looked forward, not back. For the first time in years, I felt free.